All right, so now that we're all zoomed in, I'm gonna start on how we would do this. So I already have the rest of my makeup on, and the palette that I'm going to use for this is the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe palette. Really, and this is upside down. Oh, you can see this is very well loved. Really, the reason why I think this is such a good palette is because it is really cost effective for the number of shades you're getting and the quality of the shadows that you are getting. I found several different looks that I've been able to create with this palette. So this is the one that we will be going off of for our look for today. So you want to start with a pretty fluffy brush. This is the Morphe M332. I'm just gonna start with what is called a transition shade. If you don't have a shade like this is the one we're gonna be going in with. If you don't have a shade like this in your palette, another thing you can do is use, ladybug on my vanity, is use whatever contour shade or bronzer shade that you have. So like I bronzed with this number 7 bronzer. You can totally, here, I'll just show you guys. You can totally use this shade as your transition shade. So I'm just gonna dip in a little bit, that on there, and just start by just deepening up that crease a little bit. You see how this just adds a little bit of dimension? So you see how I'm going in, first off, see how I'm pointing it at my eye? Instead of going like this, I'm going in straight on and buffing that out. And I'm also, another thing that I specifically have to keep in mind is I do have hooded eyelids. Now, while I'm doing my eyeshadow, I'm obviously lifting my eyebrows up so I can see better. But if I relax, you see how this is all just like covered up? So that's why you don't just want to keep it right here, especially if you have hooded eyelids. You want to concentrate it here, but then blend it out a little bit. So as you get more off your brush, you can take that concentrated color and blend it up further. So now I would go in with the same brush. You can clean it off a little bit, same fluffy brush, and let's just take a shade to deepen up what we just did. I'm gonna do this one here, just a little bit darker than what we just did, and I'm gonna tap off excess. I'm gonna tap off the excess. Oh my gosh, the excess. And I'm just going to really like concentrate that literally where the crease is, and just help to deepen that up. And because we are using a fluffier brush, it's going to diffuse it slightly, but we do kind of want that to stay right there. And don't worry, if you get it out here a little bit, we kind of do want that. We want the smoky blended effect. So we've got a good base, a brown shade, kind of a lighter brown shade. It really works well for a base of whatever other color you want to do on top of it. Let's try maybe a more like green look. This green that's in here is really dark, so I'm not going to go in with that just yet. I'm going to start deepening that up even more with this here, and I'm still using that same brush, and now I'm gonna concentrate that darker shade a little bit more out here, and we're gonna leave this area out. We're gonna leave this area here lighter. Okay, now I really want to meld all those colors together, so I'm going to take a fairly clean fluffy brush, and I'm going to just smooth those all together. And then I'm even going to take and just kind of blend up above where we're going a little bit, just to make sure the color can be seen even when our eyes are relaxed. So you see now, when I relax my eyes, let's see if I can completely do it. When I relax my face, what my eyes look like now. So you see how we're missing a lot of what we did with my eyes relaxed because they're hooded. So that's why we are bringing the eyeshadow up so much further than just our eyelid. So if you just put it on your eyelid, especially if you wear eyeliner, you're gonna see such little amount of shadow even though you put all this work in. So you really want to blend this up higher than you think you normally would, because it's going to create that whole overall look. And once you add your shadow onto your lower lash line, it's gonna balance how high this is. So it'll make sense once we're all done. Okay, so now with a smaller dense brush, so I'm using this is the Ulta crease brush. It's just, I wouldn't use it for my crease because it's a little too dense in my opinion. But this is what I'm gonna use to put on shadow onto the outer corner. So I'm gonna go in with that green shade that we were talking about. So I'm going to concentrate it on the outer corner. I'm gonna bring it up slightly into where our crease is. I'm just kind of placing it right now, and we'll blend it in a second. All right, got it placed. Now I'm gonna take, I love this brush that I'm about to use. I'm just cleaning it off right now, but I love it so much because it is a Wet n Wild brush and it is so good, even though it is fairly cheap. All right, it still looks like it's got product on it, but I just cleaned it off. All right, so now we're gonna take that green we just placed. We're gonna blend it into what we've got going on. Now this can take a little bit. You gotta be patient. You're blending things together. So it's not gonna happen immediately. Most of the times if I'm doing a more dramatic eye look, it's why I was late for something. So we got that blended out. I am going to use a packing brush and just pack more of that green onto that area, just to deepen up what we blended out. All right, I'm gonna take it a little forward onto the lid. So we are creating a darker eye look here. Going to blend it out a little bit more, diffuse it some. I'm gonna take this cool green shimmer here that's next to it. Let's swatch that. Oh my gosh. So that's what we're gonna do for our lid color. It's kind of got a little bit of blue in it, what I always use for my lid shade. And I'll cover up a little bit of what we did and then bring it in some. I'm gonna throw a little bit of this brown shimmer here onto the outer corner. All right, and if you get any fallout, you can just dust that away. Fallout meaning product that falls off of your brush and your lid onto like your cheekbone here. So now I'm gonna go back in with the cleaner fluffy brush and I'm gonna blend that more. So now you see, so I'm gonna try and relax as much as possible. So now you see, now that my lids are relaxed, you can still see the blending up here and you can see our lid color. So you can see all that dimension even though I have hooded eyes. So now we need to go into balancing that out on the lower lash line. So I'm gonna start with the deep green that we went in before and just place that under there. Now you can do this smoky eye combo with really any colors. You gotta think of it as like almost like an ombre or a gradient of shades. You're starting with a lighter transition shade just to start things off, just to give you a good base. And then from there, you're gonna deepen up that crease a little bit. And then you're gonna go in with whatever kind of darker shade color you wanna go with, whether it be a burgundy, whether it be a black, a dark orange, a dark green, whatever kind of theme, like color scheme you're wanting to go with, then you can go in with that specific color. This was not something that I learned how to do in a week. This was a lot of practice, okay? So don't get discouraged, you can do this. It's really not hard. All right, so I need to keep going on the lower lash line. So this is a very skinny brush. It's a little wider, fluffy, skinny brush. All right, so now I'm going to take the little bit of lighter or darker brown here, and that is how I'm going to blend out down here. Then I'm gonna diffuse that green and bring it down a little bit with that brown, because that is what we did up here. You can go even more and take that first shade and add that to it. Now, another thing you can do is you can take the lid shade that we used and you can add that a little bit down here. And that's it. That is how you complete a smoky eye. And you see, I'm relaxed, face is relaxed. You can still see all the dimension. We still got the smoky eye look. Now, another thing that does help, I do a high winged liner, and that helps to kind of bring your eyes up and look more awake, even though you do have such dark colors here. I'm gonna add liner and mascara, and we'll see, you can see what I'm talking about with the lift and everything. All right, I've added eyeliner and mascara, and I put on a different lip color that matches this a little bit better. But I hope that makes sense to you guys on how you add the colors and how you blend them. And I mean, obviously makeup is makeup. You can do whatever you want, whatever, you know, makes you happy, brings joy, using the colors that look fun to you. But if you're wanting to create a smoky eye, I hope that this tutorial help you, especially if you have hooded eyes. It can be such a pain having such little lid space to work with and this skin that just like hangs over. But anyway, that is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, entertaining, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And thank you so much for watching. See you next video. Bye.